Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, consider subscribing. What we have today is a little bit of brake work. This is my wife's winter ride, and you can see here, see all that wetness? Brake line has let go, so we're going to replace that. So stay tuned. Okay, well, the first thing we have to do is get this line off and then bend a new one to replace it. So I got my line wrenches here. Let's see if we can't get this thing off. Figure out what size it is. Well, bigger than that. That feels sloppy. What is that? 15, probably a 5/8. No, 9/16. 14. They're so rusty, it's hard to tell what size it is. There we go, 9/16 bits on there. Oh, it's turning. Now, we don't care if the line breaks because it's no good anyhow, so as long as we can get it out of the fittings, we're good. Oh, she's leaking a little. Let me get a little container. Hold that. Alright, we got our container under there, let it drip in there. Then we can break this thing off or what? Yeah, for us people that live in this Rust Belt, you know, this is a never-ending story with this kind of stuff. And that's why this is the winter ride. All she does is drive it in the winter in the salt to save her canyon from the salt. And I do the same. I have a Bravada that I run in wintertime, and then my truck I run, you know, when the weather's nice. This thing has been sitting, oh, I'd say since probably a whole year now, since October of last year, when the brake line blew. So she had to actually drive her canyon last winter because it was cold and I wasn't going to work on it in the cold. But yeah, sat there for a whole year, dead battery of course. Hooked up the jumper cables to it from my truck, and she fired right up like nothing. Runs like a top. There we go. I don't know if this one's going to come off. I don't have a lot of hope for it. Oh, there we go. All right. Let me break this line off. Look at how fragile that is. Just rotted. Gotta love the rotted materials. I don't know if I can get this all the way out without snapping. That would be excellent. I don't like that I moved that other line. It might blow that line too, so we might have to replace them both. We'll see. All right, since we got that off, let's go make a new line. Well, I went looking for fittings and I only found one. I had a pack of 10, only found one, so what we're going to do is we're going to use the old ones. We're just going to grind it smooth, punch that out, and use it. I hate it when I can't find stuff that I have, that I know that I have. You don't want to clamp it on the threads, you just hold it there. Take your punch. Since it's kind of rusted in there, you just got to persuade it a little bit. And that's the end of that. A little rust stuck in there. All that matters is this right here, the surface, that tapered surface. You can see I got all this line here. Work it a little, work it. A little bit of rust in there. We'll clean it out. Run a drill bit through it or something. And we'll clean it out. I got one cleaned out already. As you can see, it just slips on there good. So let me get that cleaned up and we'll get back. This is number 9 drill bit. Look at that. Fits in there nice. I'll do both of them just in case. Just for good measure. All right. Now that we got that done, let's make a new line. All right. So what we do, I'm not going to put this extra bend in there. It went like this. All right, like this. This is to the wheel, and this was to that center block. I'm not going to put this extra bend in it. I'm just going to do this and then come straight into here. So first thing we want to do is get our pipe cutter. I'm going to cut this end clean. Okay, get rid of the crap off the end. Then we get our tool, our flaring tool. But you notice when I cut that, it kind of closed the hole off. They have these things on most pipe cutters. You can use to ream out the center of that and get that burr out of there. As you can see, much better. Now I picked the appropriate size. I think this is 3/16. I'm not sure. What you do is you put your nut on first, put it on the right way, okay? Because you're going to thread it back in. If you don't do that, and you forget to put that on there, you have to start all over. I believe it's a 3/16. My fingers would just cooperate with me. You leave a little bit out, not much, just enough to flare it over. Sometimes it helps to put these in a vise. Just for extra clamping force. There we go. Now we got a flaring. There. Open her up. Check your flare, make sure it's not too big. And it's not. Looks pretty good. Sometimes I like to run a file on there because sometimes it gets a little burry. I don't know. So sometimes I'll run a file on there just to clean it up a little, or a piece of sandpaper works as well too. I had one here. There we go. Just to get rid of some of the burrs. Because you are stretching metal. You can see how nice that mates up there. It's beautiful. Okay, so uncoil some more of this. So we'll call that and that. I get my pipe bender. If you don't have one of these, you need to get one. These work great. for this kind of work. I'm going to cut this a little long. I'll cut it right about here. Before you flare the other end, you got to make sure that you put the nut on there. Because if you don't, again, you'll have to start all over again. And that's never a fun deal. Especially when you get it all bent. A lot of times, the first time you bend it is the perfect bend. All right, so let's match this up. So we'll say right about there. And it doesn't have to be exact. As long as it fits in the same space, you're good. We'll call that good. We'll bend it there, about like that. We'll bend it there, about like that. Twist that up a little, something like that. And of course, you can fine tune it once you get it back on the vehicle. And bend it here, like so. What this spring-looking thing does is it keeps it from kinking. So you can get a real tight bend and not kink your pipe or your line. Yeah, it's close enough. Like I said, it doesn't have to be exact, just has to be close. Something like that. Clean out this end. Well, I'm going to cut it a little shorter. Yeah, cut about an inch off of this. And with all these bends in there, you can make it shorter or longer. Easy enough just by stretching it or compressing it. You can always bend it a little bit without that spring, without issue. See? There we go. Grab your nut, put your nut back on there so you don't lose it, or forget to put it on there. Clean out your end. There you go. Put it in your tool, crimping tool. I know you didn't see none of that, but you saw it the first time. Yeah, a couple little burrs on there. We'll clean that off. We got a nice flare. See that? Perfect. All right, now we can go put this back on the car. This spring here, don't need it. Don't need it. It'll work just fine. We got basically pointing up, pointing over. Probably need to bend it a little bit more. But we'll fine tune it when we get to the car. All right, let's see how we did. That goes in there. Wow, that's pretty doggone good. Yeah, not bad. Close enough. All right, I like to put anti-seize on the threads, especially if I'm using the old nuts. Because in the salt belt here, you're going to do it more than once. It just makes it easier to take it off the next time if you have to. I could use stainless steel lines and not have to worry about it anymore, but what fun is that? Sometimes you have to wiggle a little just to make sure it's going in. You're not cross-threading. These 6-point line wrenches, highly recommend them to do this kind of work. You notice I was able to get these rusty things out without stripping them up. If I just use a regular open-end wrench on there, they would have been toast. It'd have been over. So yeah, 6-point line wrenches, a must. And get some nice girthy ones like these. These are Duralast, AutoZone special. The only reason why I got them is because how thick the sides are. They don't expand. They work pretty good. They were cheap too. Okay, that one's tight. Now we'll do this one. I don't have a vacuum bleeder, so we'll have to wait until my wife gets home. and we'll see how strong her legs are. Arm's cramping. Well, hopefully we don't have to do the other side, but by the looks of that line, I would say that's not long for this world. That feels pretty tight. All right, that line is on. It's not hitting anything, our bends are nice. There you go, pretty simple. Pretty simple. Yeah, I'm not crazy about that line. I don't know if I can get these bleeders loose. Whew. Yeah, these bleeders, they're not looking too happy. Right, let me get a 6-point socket on there. See if we can't bust that loose. All right, got me a socket. Let's see if this works. Don't break. Oh, I think we got it. Yes, we did. All right. I'm just gonna back it all the way out and put some anti-seize on there since I got it out. Make sure the hole's clean too, so when I do go to bleed them, it's not an issue. Steel into aluminum, never a good thing. Yeah, she's a little crudded. She's a little crudded. Air's going through it, so it'll bleed. Let me put some anti-seize on there. She goes in nicely now. Well, that one's ready to be bled. We'll go to the other side. I think we're gonna change this line over there because that one, I don't know how well you can see it. It's pretty sad. Let me see if I can get you closer. Yeah, you look at it. This is the one I replaced. Look at that one. It's pretty sad, so I think I'm gonna replace it. You saw how I did this one, so it's basically the same thing. So with that, if you enjoyed what you saw, if you like the content, if you're first time stopping by, consider subscribing. It's free, don't cost you a dime. We always have stuff going on. We're always doing something. And thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.